What's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday. It's quitting time, 5 o'clock. Everybody on their way home from work. Everybody's done. Almost halfway through the week. World Cup in action today. World Cup was on fire yesterday. I was dead wrong about it being, not competitive. At least yesterday I was. And then yesterday there was some wild stuff going on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Mets and another just embarrassing disaster as Juan Soto let, Little League home run as the ball bounces, as the ball gets by him all the way to the wall. He doesn't bother running. They don't track it down. They drop it out near the fence. And it's inside the park homer, and the Mets lose by a run on a well-pitched game by Sean Manaea. And, we'll also talk about Eric Chavez, Mets ex-hitting coach, coming back and killing the team and just exposing how they coddle Juan Soto. What's up, everybody? Bob Walters here. Thanks for joining Locked Up Sports. Don't forget, hit the comment area, the comment section, fill us up there and give us everything we want to talk about, any topics or anything like that. I was just arguing online. I know I don't bring politics into the show, but I was arguing online about somebody with Mike Freed. You know him. If you follow the show, you know him because he's all over our webpage and stuff, about the trans thing with the Supreme Court. And listen, I'm for it. I'm for the women not being trans, not competing with the women, but it's not really a big issue now, is it? It's not an issue that the Supreme Court should be taking up. It affects like 50 Americans. Supreme Court's got bigger and better things to do. We could argue about it like here, and you could argue about it wherever, but the Supreme Court, come on. So I was arguing there. So we got all kinds of stuff going on. World Cup yesterday, wild stuff. As you see here, we got today. There's a game in the books already today. If you look on the side there, a game in the books. Norway with their first ever knockout stage win. They beat the Ivory Coast. Is that what that's who that is, right? Yeah, Ivory Coast. 2-1. They get a late goal. Again, a late goal. There's a million of these late goals. Like the 85th minute, there's been 24. I think it's 24 goals scored after the 90th minute in this tournament. And we're just, there's been a lot more games than any other tournament because of the extra teams that were involved and extra teams that qualified. But there's been a ton of these late goals, and in so far in the night, I think every game has had a goal in the 80th minute or later so far in this knockout stage. Every one. And we got a good one here right now, actually, at France and Sweden. They're just about ready to get underway out at MetLife Stadium. So it's the home game here for us. Well, I'm sorry, not MetLife Stadium. New York, New Jersey Stadium. I don't want FIFA knocking at my door, sending cease and desist letters because I'm calling it MetLife Stadium. But as far as yesterday goes, listen, you had Germany, a perennial, I want to say a perennial powerhouse, but they're not, right? Historically, Germany is a powerhouse. They've won, I think, 4 World Cup championships, second to only Brazil, who has won 5. And they came out yesterday and they dominated the game. They had 79% of the first half possession over Paraguay, but they went into halftime trailing 1-0. And it was, and then they score to tie it. So we go to extra time. In the extra time, Germany scores a goal. They scored. They took the lead. It was called back. Was that the Germany game? I might be mixing up the game. Remind me if I'm mixing up the games. Let me know. Then they go to shootouts, and these shootouts are they're just white knuckle situations. You're almost nervous for the guy shooting. I think is there anything in sports more pressure packed than a World Cup shootout in an elimination game for these guys shooting? It's wild stuff. They get up there. I think there's really no pressure on the goalies because it's almost like you're expected to score. So the goalies kind of just, they guess which side. They dive into the right, dive into the left. They use the analytics or whatever to see what's this guy's tendencies. They know everything about it. And then these guys get up there and they got to kick. And they got to make it. Otherwise, this will trail them their entire career and their entire lives. You miss one wide. Even if the goalie makes a great save, a diving stop, and the Paraguay goalie made a couple saves, and so did the what was that? Oh, the Morocco goalie in the night match with Netherlands. Just wild saves. He was all over the place, stood on his head. But even when the goalie makes a great save, it's kind of like, still blame the kicker. And I don't know. I was thinking about it today. I was like, is there anything that's more as pressure packed, a moment, a situation than a World Cup penalty kick in penalty shots in elimination games? And these guys that go where it's like, oh my God, they got to score or it's over. I mean, and all it takes is it's one save or one, sail one over the top of the bar or hit the post once and you're behind the 8 ball and it's tough to catch up. It's tough to catch up when you get behind the 8 ball in those shootouts. But I mean, I don't like ending the game that way. I don't. But you have to, because there's sometimes, and these teams will play so carefully that they'll be out there for. I mean, obviously, eventually someone will get tired enough that'd be a mistake, but they'll be out there for another hour and a half. You can't have these guys out there. That's another 90 minutes without a goal being scored. So you have to end it. You really don't have any choice in the matter of ending it the way they do with the shootouts. And you hate to see a team win a game in the shootouts and advance, and a team go home after 4 years of just trying to get back, and then you lose in a penalty because one of your guys just sailed it over the crossbar. But as far as the drama goes and the nervousness, I don't know about you guys, but I feel nervous watching them. It's like, oh man, like you feel this guy, and then when they miss it, they just crumble. They can't believe they know when they miss it, when that guy rings one off of the pole, off of the post, he knows immediately that is going to follow him the rest of his life, and that sucks. So, but anyway, so a big upset with Germany going down, and like I started to say, Germany is a powerhouse overall historically. They have not been good lately. This is now 3 straight World Cups. They've only made it to the knockout stage once, and that's this one, and that's an expanded knockout stage thing, so don't forget about that. And they get knocked out first round against a team like Paraguay, who's, they're not bad. They played well. And credit to them, they kind of got the lead, and they just hunkered down. They made some great saves. These guys, and another one, like when the guys are on the line, on the goal line, and then the ball's coming out, and then they kick, and it just hits them. Morocco had one of those in the night game where it just smashed off the guy's face. He never even saw it. He was standing there, hands behind his back to prevent a handball in the box, and the kicker for the Dutch slammed it right off his feet. Never saw it coming, never saw it after, and then nothing. But he saved his country's game, and they advanced partly because of that. But it was wild stuff yesterday, and I put up a post yesterday about how I don't like the expanded World Cup. I think it waters it down, and it does. Listen, it watered down the group stage. The group stage was not as good. Those third games were not as there was just no intensity to them. There was very little win or go home, or you got to get a result here, or this team. Very little of that. Usually had that in the third games, and it'd be good theater. But you didn't have that this year. But they are making up for it. First day, the Canada match was not very good. I know it ended in a late extra time goal. 1-0 Canada advances, but that was a snooze fest for 90 minutes. So I mean that wasn't good. But yesterday was some good stuff. And today, Norway advancing on a late goal. They get a late goal in the 85th minute again, and they go advance for the first time ever in a knockout stage in the World Cup. So a lot of stuff, a lot of fun stuff, and we still have yet to get to Team USA, of course. Team USA will play tomorrow. I believe it's, let me see. Let's see, Wednesday. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock start. The game's in San Francisco in the, I'm guessing it's the Niners stadium. So in San Francisco against Bosnia. Now listen, USA's got to win. You have no excuse now. You're 2-1. I throw away the third game again. No drama because the US had nothing. They couldn't lose anything. It meant absolutely nothing. Basically an exhibition, right? They started 9 non-starters out of the 11. They played well. They had a lead. They got a quick goal right off the bat, and then they gave it back, and then a goal on the last touch, basically the last kick of the game, and they lose 2-1. Not a big deal. You throw that away. I don't think it's going to affect them. I don't think it's a momentum thing. It's a while now. It's not like it happened 2 days ago. It's nearly a week ago. But I think what you do is you go in there. You got to beat Bosnia. You can't go in there and lose to Bosnia and be eliminated on home soil in the first knockout stage. Can't have it happen. It's a disaster then. Just like it for Germany, disaster. Brazil, near disaster. They avoided it, but man, Brazil, they scored in the 92nd goal. But Team USA, they got it. I think they will win tomorrow. I think they'll win. I'm not gonna say easily. There's really no easy wins here. If you win by 2 goals, you win easily. I think they might win by 2 goals. I'd say probably like 2-0. If I had to guess, which is just a shot in the dark, to be honest with you. But 2-0, let's say. Then they go on to the round of 16, and I think that right there, that second knockout game for Team USA is going to be the decider on whether this is a successful World Cup or whether it's a failure of a World Cup. Because you're playing here at home, you got to get to the quarterfinals. You get to the quarterfinals, house money from there. House money. You could go to the quarterfinals, and it really doesn't matter. You get there, and then it's house money. You can play loose. You can play free. You go up in there, you upset somebody, you get to the semis, and God forbid, God forbid we ever make a final, right? And it would be so absurd if the U.S. made the finals. But when you think about it, is it really? Should it be? We should be up there. And I know we're like a top 15 team in the world, but we should be, competing. We should be considered a contender to win these World Cups. With the amount of people that play soccer in this country, and my generation was really the first one to play soccer, and everybody plays soccer. And when you have a sport that everybody plays, and it's 9 times out of 10 their first sport that they play, so the kids start standing out. The athletes will stand out. If you pluck them off real quick, focus, get them to love soccer, then they can continue with it. We got to get more people to choose soccer. People choosing football, which is crazy. You got this other guy, these guys coming down with ALS. The NFL doesn't care. There's no guaranteed contracts. Football is the worst sport to try and go pro in out of any of them. Baseball, obviously, is probably the best. It's most lucrative. You put your money on, you put your name on the contract. It's yours, whatever that dollar amount is, regardless of what happens. NFL, all these contracts that you hear when these guys sign, a 6-year, $120 million contract. He's not guaranteed any of that. He's guaranteed next week's paycheck. He goes and blows his knee out in the second week of training camp. They're going to cut him, and he's not going to get any of the money. He's going to end up with, out of that $120 million contract, he's going to have $100,000 or $50,000 and a $1 million signing bonus. Baseball, put your name on the contract. You blow your knee out in spring training, you get $150 million. But soccer, I feel like when everybody plays, if we were able to grab the talent early and kind of shift them towards soccer rather than football, I think first of all it'd be it's a lot healthier. The moms out there, I'm sure, agree with me. Although a lot of the moms are pushing their kids towards football, it doesn't make sense to me. I love football as much as anybody. I'll sit there and watch it all day on Sunday. We're going to be doing games this year. I love it, but it's crazy to go play it. It's crazy. And when you play from the pee-wee to the pros and you're getting all those head hits, now they're coming down with ALS. They got the CTE. The NFL doesn't care. They had to fight tooth and nail just to get decent health insurance for their retired football players. Go look at an NFL player who is 55 years old, 60 years old, retired from the league for 25, 30 years. He looks like he's 85. He's limping around. He can barely get around. He has terrible health insurance. It's not a good sport to play. You get and the average NFL career, a lot of people say, they're in there for 10 years. But the average NFL career is 2.5, 3 years. 2.5, 3 years. That's the average NFL career. So most guys come and go, and they're gone in 3 years, and then they're forgotten about. Baseball, you play for a while. It's harder to get to baseball because of the minor leagues. Soccer. Now, we don't have the big league here in the States. That's a problem. Because if you want to be really good, if you want to be one of the world's top soccer players, you're going to Europe. You're going to play in one of those Champions League teams in Liverpool and Manchester, Man U, and those teams. Oh, a penalty kick, right? No, not a penalty kick. Sorry. And that's what you want to do. So, but the leagues are better. The MLS is getting better. It's getting better. But if they got to play soccer, we should have a better team. We have every kid in America, almost every kid in America play soccer, and it's usually 9 times out of 10 their first sport that they play. Right? I know, and my generation, and I'm 45 now, was the first generation to have that where everybody played soccer. I remember my father was the coach. He didn't know even how to line us up. And he played sport. He even knew sports. So he didn't even know how to line us up. He lined us up like hockey. He said, I remember him saying to me, I'm not really even sure how to line you guys up. I don't know how it works. We'll line you up like hockey. Same thing, right? It's just on ice. Because his generation didn't play soccer. We all play soccer. We all know how to line them up. We know the positions. We know the game. Maybe not the ins and outs like the Europeans and stuff do. And we're not as crazy as maybe the Mexicans and the South Americans are. I'll tell you, last week, I might go tonight. At the U.S. Open, they have viewing party. The Mexicans. I went to the Mexican game last week. It was a knockout stage that we're already through. Guaranteed. It wasn't a knockout. They say it was the group stage. They were already through. It was wild. Wild. I left the Mets doubleheader. Second game. The 6-hour game. 4th inning. I said, I'm done with this garbage. And I walked across the boardwalk, got myself in to the U.S. Open, and it was crazy. It was crazy. Great time. Great time. If you get out there, get out there. They have it tomorrow for the U.S. I asked a couple of the security guards and stuff. I was like, is it like this for the U.S. games? And they were like, no, not at all. It's not, because we're not like that with soccer. But anyway, France and Sweden underway, about 15 minutes in, scoreless. Brazil squeaked by. Brazil was trailing 1-0 at the half. They had to get 2 goals in the second half. They came out and barnstormed them. Right? Barnstormed them. Went and then just dominated the first 15, 20 minutes, just peppering the goalie. The whole field was tilted towards the other team's goal. And they were peppering them with just shots. They finally stuck one in the back of the net. Then they get another one in the very last minutes. And Brazil survives, but they're going to have to play better. You got to play well. It's like the NCAA tournament. You don't show up, you make a couple of mistakes, and bam, 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 it's in the back of your net, and it's over. It's over. So, like I said, I was wrong. I'm man enough to admit when I was wrong. So far, the knockout stage has well exceeded my expectations. Group stage, not good. Knockout stage, and it's only a couple days in, but it's been as good as it could get. And like I said, these penalty kicks, and these guys taking them, I mean, if you're not nervous for them, the guys taking it, because if you don't care who wins, and you're just watching the game, and these guys are taking, you definitely feel nervous for them. Because it's white knuckle, life-changing, in 2 seconds situations. And sometimes there's no pressure on the goalies because they're expected to score, and all the weight of the world is on the kickers. And it's fascinating. It's what makes sports fun, and that's what you can know nothing about soccer, but watching that this guy better make this. He's gonna have bad news. And I know people joke about the guy that got shot after he didn't make it, but you better make it. I don't think they do that anymore. But you are not going to be, you're going to be buying drinks the rest of your life in whatever country you come from if you miss your penalty kick. So that's that. USA tomorrow. Like I said, USA's got to win this game tomorrow. Don't go in there, lay an egg, and lose to Bosnia and come back and come here. Or you don't even go home because you are home with your tail between your legs and another failed World Cup from a country with 300 million people and everybody plays soccer. It's time we ramp it up a bit. It's embarrassing. Quarterfinals, you got to get to the quarterfinals. You got to win 2 of these knockout stage matches. You got to get to the quarterfinals, and then you're with house money. And then just roll the dice, go out there, have fun, and who knows, right? Germany lost. Netherlands lost. Norway got to win for the first time. It can happen. It can happen. Miracles do happen, as we know in the Miracle on Ice. So that's what's going on there with the World Cup. I'll keep you updated in the time we have left when we're on the air. If anything happens in the France-Sweden match, it is scoreless, 17th minute. One of the more anticipated matches of the group stage right here. is the France, Sweden, and it's happening right in our backyard. New York, New Jersey Stadium. Don't see FIFA. I'm sorry, I said MetLife before. I didn't mean to. Don't send me no letters or nothing. No cease and desist. But so now let's get to the baseball and the Mets. The Mets. Oh, the Mets. I mean, what are we gonna do with them, right? So hold on. Let me just bring this up here. Juan Soto yesterday, of course, a complete disaster. He lets up. In the second. Now, this is coming off the back of Mr. Met dancing behind the reporter while he's talking about Mickey Callaway. Listen to me, because we had him on the show. He's talking about Mendoza getting fired. Mr. Met back there doing his, gay pride dance on Gay Pride Day at Citi Field, but behind the reporter talking about Mendoza. It's just it's classic Mets. Then on the very next day, you got Ronnie Mauricio swinging a bat in the on-deck circle, and he swings right into the head of Alvarez, who's standing like 3 feet behind him. With the weighted bat, with the donuts, or whatever it is, swings, cracks Alvarez in the head. Down for the count. Again, the 2-strike-2 right there. These are signs when these are like, only the Jets could do something like that. This is when the Mets are laughing stock. This is when the brown paper bags start being put on people's heads, coming to the game, and it ends up on the back page. Not good for Stearns. Not good for Cohen, who's now, I think Cohen's being humbled here. But anyway, yesterday, I think, and we'll get to that in a second. I think Cohen's being humbled here. This is not as easy as he thought it was going to be. Thought he was going to come in here and throw some money around and win championships and be the toast of the town, and everyone was going to love him forever. And he broke his promise. He came out bold promise. 5 years champion. That's a bold promise, and we all know it. For some reason, he wasn't worried. 5 years, we're gonna 5 years, we're gonna have a championship. We're gonna be winning championships. We win. Like Donald Trump running around saying we're gonna do a lot of winning. Not really, because you don't know what you're doing. And it's Cohen. A lot of these stock guys and these hedge fund guys, they think it's gonna be easy. A lot of them do come over and buy a toy, and their toy is a major league team or an NFL team or something like that. That's the kind of money. These are their toys that they buy, and they think they're going to come in and throw some money around, championships, be the king of the city. No, they most of them find out real quick as they get knocked down a couple pegs that it's not as easy as they thought they were running this thing. And he screwed up on the hiring. Stearns. He's paying him $50 million. That's why Stearns isn't going anywhere. Because if he fires him tomorrow, there's a goal right there, France. Is it going to count? It's Mbappe. No, he's offside. Mbappe got in, free, breakaway, scored the goal, offside. France, take it off the board. So, but if he fires Stearns today or tomorrow, he's got to pay him $50 million. Like I said, the baseball. Put your name. If it goes for the executives too, put your name on the contract. It's yours. That's why Soto's out there all smug and with all his bravado, being like, hey, "Listen, we're gonna do it this way." And everything he's done has been wrong. Every single thing he's touched has been a disaster, and it's been wrong. Every one. He didn't make one good move. And then so you get those two things over the weekend, Mr. Met and Mauricio swinging the bat at Alvarez. Okay, you get those two things, and then last night the Mets get a well-pitched game from Minaya, 5 innings, decent. But in the second inning, a ball is hit out to I can put it up here. A ball is hit out to Soto, and here you go. Oh, a ball is hit out to Soto, and he just misplays it. And he just doesn't hustle. And Soto has this reputation. I said it last year. So here it is right here. If you're watching now, look, this, first of all, it's a hit. He should have just let it bounce in front of him and made the play and lift him at first. But it gets by him. And here it is again. It gets by him, bounces all the way to the wall. Soto kind of stands there, jogs, nonchalantly getting back to it. Ewing comes over from center field, picks it up, and drops it out of his glove. It's the Mets season in a nutshell. That play right there. And do you blame Juan Soto? I do a little bit. Do you bench Juan Soto because he didn't hustle? I don't know. I wouldn't be opposed to it if Juan Soto got benched tonight, but it's also, an interim manager. I don't think it's going to happen. But it might be a good message because with what Eric Chavez said, and we'll get to that in a second, the Mets are just, they coddle him. Soto, I'm talking about here. He doesn't hustle. He doesn't hustle a lot. There was a play last year where he hit one. It was a clear double. He stood in the box for about two seconds and then almost got thrown out at second on a crucial play where they needed to run. And it's just, you could see it happening, and you knew something like this was going to eventually happen because it always does. The guys that don't hustle, something like this always happens, and they get shot, like the spotlight shined right on them. And, what do you say? No one's going to sit here and defend Juan Soto for that play. Yeah, he gets hits, and listen, Juan Soto's going to the Hall of Fame, and he's going to be a great Met, all-time Met. But you can't defend that. He can't defend. Nobody can defend it. Jogged his way back. First of all, it was what are you doing? And he made two outstanding catches later in the game. Caught one over his shoulder, going back. Caught another one coming in, diving. So he can do it. It's just when you see these guys not hustle, it's just such a bad look, and you can't win against the fans like that. The fans are going to kill you for that, no matter who you are. And it's going to be the same story. Regardless of what it is, it's going to be, you're making all this money. You could run as fast as you can to make the play, run as fast as you can to first base. It's always going to be like that. You can't get away from that. And you can't argue with it either. These guys are busting their ass, paying $50 to park, going to see your garbage team. Now, this didn't happen at Citi Field. It happened up in Toronto. But going to see a garbage team and then you don't hustle? The nerve of you. So I can't defend him, and nobody can. Should he be benched? Is it a big deal? It's not a big deal because the season's dead and buried, a month ago. So in that case, it's not a big deal. The Mets have now lost 9 out of 10. They had an 8-game losing. They won 1 game. Then the 9 out of 10 they've lost. It's a complete failure of a season. They have fired the manager. They have the fans want the head of the general manager and president. The owner isn't speaking. They're throwing guys out of the ballpark for bringing fire Stern signs and saying Cohen is going on X, saying he was drunk, he was belligerent. I haven't heard that he was belligerent from anybody else. I've only heard Stern say that. So we threw him out. Oh, he said, well, my head of security. Yeah, so what? They ripped the sign out of the guy's hand. That's the first thing they went for. They didn't go and say, hey, sir, you're belligerent. You got to get out of here. Ripped the sign right out of his hand. And then, on top of all that, so we got the Mr. Met dancing behind the reporter talking about Mendoza losing his job. You got Mauricio swinging the bat in the on-deck circle and hitting Alvarez in the head. You got Soto botching a fly ball out in left field, not hustling to it, and it turning into a little league inside the park home run. You got the sign being grabbed out of the guy's hand, and then just to pile on, Eric Chavez comes out. Eric Chavez, the former Mets hitting coach from last year who was fired, comes out and starts just ripping and sharing all the dirt on what happened in the locker room and what happened in the dugout. Apparently, Juan Soto used to come and eat his meals by himself at a separate part on the other end of the dugout with a GM or an assistant GM sitting with him, trying to get him to come and just trying to tell him he's okay, trying to get him to come over to the other side with the teammates. He wouldn't go. The Mets said it's okay. And then when they were asked about it, why was he not told, get your ass over with your teammates. We're a team here. We got to work together. We're going to eat together, and we're going to hang. Do while you're at work, you got to work with your team. And the answer from the Mets was, well, not everybody's Juan Soto. Come on, we know that the stars get treated a little different, but and then the reason too. Also, they didn't give I think they didn't give the Lindor the captains because they wanted it to be Soto. Soto's not a captain. Soto's the best player on the team. Soto will be the best player on any team he plays on. But he's not a leader and he's not a captain. And you can just see it. He doesn't lead. He's not in the faces. He's not the biggest thing in his life is not winning that game. And that's okay. That's okay. That's fine. Not everybody's built to be a captain, built to be Mark Messier, or built to be Derek Jeter. Not everybody can do it. There are great players who couldn't do it. Soto's one of them. He will always be your best player. It's not a captain. And the Mets, I think, up in the hierarchy, the Stearns, Cohen, that group in the suits, they didn't want to give it to Lindor. And Lindor is clearly a leader, clearly a captain. And now, it's kind of went downhill since then. I'm not saying that's the reason, but they kind of went downhill since then. And just, now you're sitting here and you're hearing, should the Mets start to shop around Lindor? Right? Maybe we're a couple years out from being good. And Lindor's going to start to get old. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the answer. I guess if you get a good enough deal, right? Everybody's available. Everybody has a price. You got to at least listen to the teams if they come knocking on the door for Lindor. And just 2 years ago, Lindor put us on his back, got us to the playoffs, then got us through the playoffs into the NLCS, 2 wins away from the World Series. Here we are 2 years later, last place. Mr. Mets dancing behind the reporter, talking about Mendoza being fired. They're ripping Fire Stearns signs out of fans' hands and kicking them out of the ballpark. Mauricio swinging a bat and hitting Alvarez. It's as bad as it gets. It's the classic Mets laughingstock. We get a good year. We get a good team. We have prospects coming up. Pitching. It's always pitching. They never come up. They never pan out. You had that one big year. We live off of that run, whatever run we had that one year for about 5 or 6 years, 3 years, 4, whatever. And then we start to get pissed off and because we're just turned right back into a laughingstock. That's the life cycle of the Mets. They're not never good. The Mets are not never good. They're good. They have runs, right? The 90s, late 90s, they had some runs. They went to the world. They went to a couple World Series in the 2000s and 2010s. And they went just a couple years ago to the NLCS on a great run. And then we get pushed right back there. And then all of our hope with the prospects that are coming up never pan out. And before we know it, a couple things shift, a couple players leave, a couple this and that, and you're right back in the tank and you're a laughingstock again until you just get until the next run. That's what happens. And they never complete the run. They're never the Knicks. They never complete the run. It's always falling just short. Oh, but we knew we weren't going to beat the Dodgers. And and it just sucks. That's why being a Mets fan is such a hard life. Because you do get those glimpses of the top. You do get a taste of it, but it's a very fleeting taste and it's a very fleeting thing. And you get it for 1 year, maybe 2 sometimes, and then it just sinks like a rock to the bottom of the ocean every single time. And that's the dichotomy of being a Mets fan, and it sucks. It sucks. Yankees losing. Yankees are in there. The June Yankees are losing now 5-6 in a row, getting swept by last place Boston. Coming home last night, can't hit, and then nobody's even batting an eye. That's the June swoon. They always have this. They'll be all right. And you know what the sad part is? They will be all right. Because their June swoon never goes into a slump that ruins their season. The Mets have had times like this. Mets go into a swoon somewhere in the season, and it turns into a slump, into a losing streak, into a record losing streak. Then we fire the manager, and the season's over. Yankees get a June swoon for 2 weeks, and then they're back. When they start winning again, they're back in second place, and then they go when they play in the playoffs. That's what disgusts us, Mets fans. That's what disgusts the Mets fans, and that's why the Mets fans don't like the Yankees. And the bottom line. That and the ton of World Series that they win. One of them on our field, one of them against us. Like, come on. What do you want? What do you want from us? I do have the. Where is it? Oh, I do have the. I'm gonna put it up in a minute. I do have the poll results from our first Sports Pulse poll question. Don't forget, we partnered with them. We're going to be putting poll questions up all over the place. Go to the App Store, the Google Play Store, and download the Sports Pulse poll. And listen, it's got a bunch of questions. They're interesting. They're fun. They're fun to take. it's a quick little, they're not survey. I don't want to say surveys. They're poll questions. Like, do you think this? What do you think is the, it just stuff. That's stuff that you debate with people, and it's got scientific results. So you have to sign it. You sign up for it. It's free to sign up. And when you do sign up, make sure you put Locked Up Sports, all one word, in the promo code, so I at least get credit for talking about it. And somebody go sign up. I'm telling you, give it a shot. What's the worst that happens? You sign up, you don't like it, you delete it. But at least then I get credit. So let me get some credit here. Let's get some people to sign up. So do that. The Sports Pulse poll. And let me just bring up the poll here. 1 second. I don't think I have it right now. Let me see. But it did come out that there's like a bunch of people who thought that the U.S., because the question was, how far do you think the U.S. will go in the World Cup? Simple. Straight to the point, right? Question. How far can the U.S. go in the World Cup? Yeah, there was a bunch of people to finals. It's not that they can't get to the final. They can. Will they? I hope so. But I don't think so. Let me see if I can bring it up here. Hold on 1 second. Because I was supposed to have it. And I'm going to post it. 1 second here. Ah, there it is. Okay, hold on. But yeah, so it's a good poll. It's a good, it's fun. It's fun to do. There it is. Okay, so 1 second. I'm going to bring this up now. This is the results of the Sports Pulse poll. Don't forget to go download it from the Google Play Store or the App Store if you have Apple, like I do. If you don't have Apple, what are you doing? What are you doing? If you don't have Apple, I see a green text show up in my text message, and I'm already suspicious of you. So let me see here. Nope. Photos. Let's see. Okay. Videos. Yeah, let's see. Okay, I think I got it here. 1 second. Well, either way, let's say it was 20% that said U.S. will get through this game. The guy who runs it, who I talked to, he thinks that it's going to be. He thinks it's going to be U.S. is going to lose to Bosnia. And I said to him, I go, you better not lose to Bosnia. Don't even bother showing up if you're going to lose to Bosnia. We're not losing to Bosnia here. I don't think. I think they will beat Bosnia by 2 goals. I don't have it, but I'm going to put it on the overlay when I post this and everything. So, what do you think? Do you think, is the U.S. going to win? Will they not win? We got a good one here. France and Sweden, scoreless, 35th minute, headed towards overtime. This should be a good one. They've all been good ones, right? We haven't had a bad one yet out of the Canada might have been a snooze fest, but it finished with a blast on a 92nd minute goal. So, hey, give them credit. Hold on. I don't know why this isn't working. Let me cancel this. There we go. So a 92nd minute goal, and that did it. And then today or yesterday, a wild day yesterday, and then today you had a good start with a late goal from Norway to advance to their first. The Mets. What are the Mets going to do? They're going to lose. They're going to lose a lot of games this year. Mets are a bad team. They're going to lose a lot of games. Stearns will they lose enough? Because look what we're talking about here. Look at the play that he made. He didn't hustle. He let the ball bounce past him. He didn't hustle back. And all we did here about it, all the entire offseason, run prevention, pitching, good pitching, good. Pitching's non-competitive. The defense is atrocious. It gets worse every day. And they can't hit. It's a disaster. The fact that he keeps his job, I'm telling you, it's only because of that $50 million. He waited 2.5 years. Imagine waiting 2.5 years for David Stearns to put this team together. He waited. Cohen waited 2.5 years for this team and this guy to put this team together. Think about that. That's what we'll leave you with. Don't forget to check out the website, lockedupsports.net. Don't forget to check out all our social media. We're on all social media. Just search up Lock Up Sports. You'll find us. Don't forget, if you're on YouTube, to subscribe to the channel. Very important. And click the like button and the share button. Share us. Let people see us. And then don't forget also to go and download the Sports Pulse poll on your Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. That does it for me, everybody. I'm Bob Walters from the Brian Gunzel Studios. We'll talk to you tomorrow. More USA. Let's go USA tomorrow. See ya.